Welcome to Thunder Hill Raceway in Kyle, Texas. It's the season opener for NASCAR's Grand National West Series, the All-State Texas Thunder 150. Good evening, everybody. Mike Hogwood here. Looking forward to this season and indeed this first race. Dan Pardis is working alongside. Jim Trado is down on pit road. And right now, let's head down trackside to the Grand Marshal of this race, who is two-time Nextel Cup champion, Terry Labonte, and he is going to give the command to start this race. And I can tell you, these folks have been excited about Texas Terry being here tonight.
With the infamous words, Texas's own Terry Labonte.
All right, gentlemen, start your engines.
Well, Texas Terry has started a lot of engines in his career. A champion. Great to have him here as a part of this season opener tonight in the Grand National West Series. Dan, you and I were just here last fall, and this track gave us one of the best races of the West Series season.
Yes, I mean, Thunder Hill, Kyle, Texas, just an awesome place. Second group worked in. Let's take a look at some action.
Well, it was Mike David who led most of the race. He was in a battle with Eric Holmes in that 62 car, not only in this race, but for the series championship. And what a last lap it was as cars were going spinning, and unfortunately, one of those cars that went spinning was Mike David himself. This was a big win for Eric Holmes. I think this is the race that propelled him to the championship a year ago.
Yes, it did. I mean, it was down to the last race. You see Eric at the inside. These guys were tooth and nail all night. What an exciting race. He gets turned around. Eric Harden gets turned around, and there goes Mike David turned around. Basically cost him the championship in 2006.
Well, he still got a top five, but it wasn't enough to win the title. Eric Holmes gets the title, and this is really his best race. He said at the end of the year, this was his best race of the season here, Kyle, a year ago. He is not here tonight to race, but Mike David is, and he feels this track owes him something. He is the only driver in the West Series that has been in the top five the two times that they have raced here. This is the third time the series has raced here at Kyle, Texas, and Mike David, who's from Modesto, California, swept the races last year at his home track at Stockton 99, and I think he is going to be a threat tonight to win this race. Starts in the 6th position. Now, there are other guys who I think have chances. Now, you remember the beginning of the season a year ago, the guy who started out so hot, who won 2 of the first 3 races, was Andrew Myers. Myers says he wants that kind of start again, but he's got to come from 20th position. This is not a race where it's easy to come up through the middle of the field.
No, it's not. This is a short track. You've got to make every single lap count here. And we've got a lot of rookies in this race, probably the most rookies we've ever had in a long time in this series. You've got to be careful to come back from the back there. He has to stay on the bottom of that racetrack, and most of all, he's got to take care of that equipment tonight, because this is a short track race, and you knock a fender in, your night will be done.
You talk about a lot of rookies. 28 cars in this race, 11 of them have registered as contenders for the Rookie of the Year. Here's our starting grid on the pole. We told you Mike Duncan, and there's one of the rookies. 17-year-old Alex Haas will be starting on the front row. And on row 2, you've got another rookie. David Mayhew is there. He's going to be a contender, 25 years old, and former series champion Scott Lynch, after a year off, he's back here tonight.
He is. He's excited. He's taking a little time off. He's going to do some Craftsman truck races this year. He says, man, I'm pumped. I love this series, and this series has really come alive.
Well, you see Justin Lofton, and there's Mike David, who ran so well here a year ago. And then another row back, there's Ryan Foster. Richard Childress thinks enough of Ryan that he signed him to a developmental contract. Another one of our rookies here.
One to watch out for. Steve Portengay turning the wrenches on that car. He knows how to get around this place. He's been a big help to that kid here today.
And speaking of rookies, Jason Bowles from Ontario, California. Scott Gaylord, now where he's a rookie, he's been around this series as long as anybody.
Scott's one of them guys, he's like Darrell Waltrip. He hangs around in the middle of the back of the field, then towards the end of the race, he's right up towards the front. You need to watch Scott Gaylord here tonight.
It's going to be fun to watch the rookies and the veterans. There's 2 of them side by side. Eric Richardson, a rookie, and a veteran, Tim Woods III.
Tim Woods, another guy that runs so well at this track. He ran top 5 here last year. He's a tough competitor.
And you see Justin Labonte, that's Terry's son, who's going to be racing in the Dick Midgley 09 here tonight. There are 28 cars who will start this race. Jose Luis Ramirez is back in the series. Johnny Borneman has run well here in the past. Moses Smith driving for Bill McAnally. He's got quite a ride. So is Brian Eichler, and they're both back on row 9. They've got some work to do. And Andrew Myers, he's back on row 10, starting 20th. Boy, he's got some work as well.
Jim Inglebright, he struggled a little bit. He says, I'm okay, though. I overdrive the car in qualifying. I'll be good in the race.
You're watching NASCAR Grand National West Series Racing on Speed. 28 cars will make up the field, and they are ready to go. They'll start side by side. The rookie, Alex Haas, is going to be on the outside. The two-time champion in 2004, 2005, Mike Duncan on the pole. Duncan feels this year might owe him a little something. Boy, he had some bad breaks last year. Finished third in the points.
All around, protect the bottom going into one.
That's what a driver likes to hear right there, Mike, especially early on. They're all around.
That's with word to Mike Duncan, who has led the first lap here. And behind him, two rookies are racing side by side. David Mayhew out of Atascadero, California, and the 84 car of Alex Haas out of Las Vegas. Haas in that 84, interesting story, only 17 as Scott Lynch comes up right beside him, and you see Duncan clearing out.
And this track's a little green and slick, as you've seen come across the crawl there. It rained here yesterday. All the rubber was washed off this racetrack. A lot of these drivers a little concerned of, hey, we've got to take it easy. We've got to pace ourselves. NASCAR told them in the meeting, guys, get single file, get some rubber down. That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, let's talk a little strategy here. In the fall we were here, there were 200 laps in the race. There was a break halfway through. Tonight, 150 laps, and there is no break. And we've got a spin already. Out of turn 4, Englebright is in.
One's coming on, one's coming on.
Well, if you have to go down pit road, you're pretty much cooked as far as a win would be concerned here. There looks like some damage on the right side. Mike Gallegos in the 77 car also involved. One of those rookies hoping to run well here tonight. And
it's a driver development car there for Joe Nava-owned entry. Steve Portengay drove that car last year. King Taco sponsored automobile. Tough break for him this early on.
There you see Gallegos climbing out of the car. He is part of the 2007 Drive for Diversity class. Started racing in go-karts at the age of 12, as so many of these drivers now do. They start running very, very early in their career, but it looks like his night is done very early. Mike Gallegos out. We're under caution here in Kyle, Texas. Caution came out just a few laps into the race, and on my count, we've been under caution now for some 14 laps.
Yeah, they had a little trouble getting down there. It rained here extensively yesterday. We had a lot of rain, a lot of mud down there in the grass, and it just looked like the wrecker just could not get close enough to get a hold of it. So it took the wrecker a little bit longer to get a hold of the 77 car. They've got him out there now. We should be underway here shortly.
I like your positive attitude.
That's right. Shortly could mean how short.
Now, if you're Mike Duncan and you've got a rookie right behind you, now is going to start alongside of you, but the advantage is down on the inside, and it used to be you had a choice. So we've now got one to go. You could start either on the inside or the outside. Now there is no choice. If you lead the race, you have to start on the inside. So it'll be Duncan starting alongside David Mayhew, the 25-year-old rookie. Last year was the Rookie of the Year in the Southwest Elite Series. You know, those series no longer exist. So a lot of those drivers from the Southwest and the Northwest Series have moved up to the West Series, and we are about ready to go back to green. Hold on, folks.
Ready, green flag, green, green. Good job. Outside barely. Outside, just barely. He's out there, outside. Outside by a fender, that's it. Next to you now. Stay on the bottom, protect the bottom. Okay, clear all around, protect the bottom. Good job, that's the way to do it. Hit your mark. A little high into one, that's all right. You got the 29 on your bumper, not faster than you.
How about Lynch, who made a nice move past Mayhew, and you heard Mike Duncan's spotter telling him,
whoa,
clear all around.
Lynch sideways.
Lynch
Right
got
at the bottom.
onto the grass. No caution.
Good save.
No harm, no foul, but Lynch lost about 5 spots.
Just looks like he got a little anxious there. Mike off the corner, got back in that throttle, saw the lead a little early, and the car just got a little loose.
Scott Lynch, the 2003 champion, won the championship in his rookie season. Last year tried to move up, it just didn't have a ride. And as we've said, he's going to run some Truck Series races this year. Also a few races here in the West Series. Right now the story is Mike Duncan, and Mike David been on the move as well. Let's take a look again. Here's what happened to Scott Lynch.
Gets down on the bottom and almost gets in the back of Duncan. It looks like he maybe lifted a little bit, which was the right thing to do. Got the car sideways.
You know, one thing, you mentioned this, Dan, and I don't think we can stress this enough throughout this race, and that is tire management. We were making the point, this race is 150 laps long, but there is no stop.
Yeah, and that's important, Mike. I mean, tire management's a big deal here tonight. 150 laps, no tires. It's going to be a long race. You've got to take care of them tires early.
Yellow is out. Eric Richardson, the 21-year-old rookie, has turned it around. One of the many rookies in this field, and now is going to take a little trip through the grass.
Eric Richardson's a Bill McAnally entry. Down there, dirt tracking down in the grass. You see the mud down there, but he's trying not to lose a lap.
Ran the Southwest Series last year. You see him slide through that grass now. As you mentioned, it rained like crazy here yesterday, and you might think there would be a lot of water. It'd be wet down there, but he slipped and his way right through the grass back out on the racetrack.
Did a good job. Looks like he was not able. He kept his lap, did not get a lap down. If NASCAR sees it the same way, and he'll be at the tail end of the lead lap, looks like.
We'll be back with more Grand National West Series racing here on Speed. Well, Mike Gallegos has made his way back to the garage. I think Jim's with him right now. Jim?
Quick night for young 24-year-old Michael Gallegos, Mike. Not the way you wanted to end it, but really, did you have a choice in where you went on the racetrack in the 77?
No, it's a short track deal. You know, you hate to go out on the first lap. I needed as much seat time as I possibly can. We had gremlins the whole weekend and didn't get too much seat time, but we'll see what happens for Phoenix.
How bad's the race car?
Actually, it's probably going to need a clip. It's pretty bad. It was actually a pretty hard hit for a short track. I mean, I had nowhere to go. We went up the racetrack, then slid back down. What do you do?
Glad to see you're okay.
Thank you very much.
Now NASCAR is giving a beneficiary, as they have done for the past couple of seasons, the leader who is not on the lead lap. And I believe that is going to be, indeed it is, Jim Englebright, who's now gone around the pace car and will come back around. So Englebright is now back on the lead lap. It's a big break for him, this caution and this spin, the second caution of the night. We are on lap 31. And we do know that Mike Duncan is the leader. He's been there all night long.
Doing a good job on them restarts, keeping the car on the bottom. So important to keep that car on the bottom.
Outside by half a car.
Spotter doing a great job of communicating with him.
Outside.
Mayhew really giving him a battle out there.
He has. His car's getting really good, but just we need some rubber on that outside of the racetrack. It's going to take another 50 laps to really run fast on that outside. And that's the problem Mayhew's having. He cannot run on that outside long enough to get around him.
Well, as I said, Mayhew last year was the Rookie of the Year in the Southwest Series, the Elite Division. 2004, late model champion at Mesa Marin at Bakersfield. Running for Rookie of the Year right now and holding his own with some of the veterans.
And look at the two car of Mike David. He's able to run on the outside of this racetrack. He has perfected this racetrack. I don't believe there's anybody out here that knows how to get around this track any better than Mike David. And he's able to run on the outside here and really not lose any positions.
In the two races prior to this one, he's the only driver in this series who's finished in the top 5 in both. They're off the track taking another path through the grass. That's Stan Silva Jr. in the 65. No caution.
See, David also, what a driver will do is if there's nobody else running up here, oh, little trouble there off of 4.
Boy, turn 4 has really been trouble for a lot of drivers. Thomas Martin escaped it. He went through the grass, but the veteran, Scott Gaylord.
Tough break for Scott. Scott, a longtime competitor, 170 starts in this series. Been around a long time, 47 years old.
And has never won in this series. 4 times he's finished second, but he's never won in this series.
He has been up there a lot. Oliver separators, sponsor on that car, Gravity separators.
Last year had 3 top 5s. It was one of his best years in the series.
See the back end of it as they're coming off of 4. Looks like Gaylord may have got a little sideways. And the 44 car.
Some damage on Andrew Myers. I didn't see that until just a moment ago. So Andrew Myers gets caught up in that a little bit. Wait till Myers comes around. Check the damage on his car. There is some definite damage on Scott Gaylord's. Now, a number of these cars are running composite bodies this year.
Yep, and Gaylord, it's a lot of that damage on that car really won't affect it either because of the speeds we're running, but that left front fender might.
Gaylord is not one of those running a composite bodies. This series is going to composite bodies and spec engines. And in the field, there are 5 or 6 drivers with spec engines in their car. And about half the field has composite bodies. Well, under caution for the 3rd time tonight here at Kyle, Texas. We'll be back with more of the All-State Texas Thunder 150. We are now 40 laps into the race here in Kyle, Texas. Mike Duncan has led every lap. Rookie David Mayhew running second. Justin Lofton, Scott Lynch, and Mike David are in the top 5. We talked about Andrew Myers at the beginning of the broadcast as a guy we thought might have a shot to come through the field and do well, but that's the left side of the car, and it's got a few donuts on it. That's typical of Saturday night bull ring racing, but wait till he comes around, and you will see on the other side of his car, he's on the backstretch now, but when he comes back around, there is some damage on the right rear of that car. We saw in that replay a moment ago where he just did clip that car and almost got through that wreck, but not quite.
Yeah, he just missed the corner of Gaylord's car, but what you see the damage there again, it's a lot of just fiberglass. You see he just catches the right rear corner, boom, misses the tire. It looks like if he's missed the tire and did not bend the rear end of that race car, and that's what it appears like, he should be okay, and it shouldn't affect the handle of that race car. But he'll know in about 1 lap.
Yeah, you see it almost flapping over there on the right side, on the other side of the car. So I think we're ready to go back to green. We'll see what happens between Duncan and Mayhew one more time.
Outside by a half. 66 on you. Don't worry about it. Just do what you're doing. Do what you're doing. Protect the bottom. Protect the bottom. There you go.
Spotter talking about Justin Lofton, who's trying to make a move on the inside on Duncan. Lofton just 21 years old, but loaded with talent.
Look at the 29 car, Scott Lynch. He is getting antsy. He's got a car. His car's really turning down in the center of the corner. He gets a big run right through here. Lynch is really able to reel the 66 car in just behind the 66 car. You see he gets a real good run through the corner, but he's got to be patient. We got to take care of our tires here. We talked about it. It's so important.
And Justin Lofton has just moved into second place.
Look at Lynch. He fires down into third, looks to the inside of the 26 car. Good move.
You know what? I think Mayhew is smart. Oh, Mike David almost turns him around and does.
Wow, the 26 car, David Mayhew, looks like he came down on Mike David is what it appeared. We'll take another look at that, but David had his nose in there. Unfortunately for him, he was not able to recover.
And another spin by Richardson, and now that spin by Richardson has brought out the caution once more. 4 now, 4 cautions here, and we're not even 50 laps through. There is Richardson, who is just having a tough night. But let's take a look, and you'd be the judge. What happened here?
Well, here we're off the corner, running down in the straightaway, down in the bottom. Looks like David had that fender there. Looks like Mayhew just wasn't aware of it.
Short track racing, and Dan, I know you've done a lot of it. When you're Mike David, you've got to hold your line. You've got to protect your line. If somebody cuts down on you like that,
you really
that's
do.
what happens.
And he let him loose right there. David did not. David could have drove through him and really drove him off the corner, but Mike David chose to get back out of the gas and let him loose. And sometimes this is a spotter's deal too. Spotter needs to tell you inside, let him go. It's early in the race. We're not fighting for the lead of the checkered flag right now, so I think it was just a learning experience for Mayhew.
I was going to say, and if you're David Mayhew, one of the rookies in this race, who you see a little damage there on the left rear, that was a lesson learned.
It was, and that really won't affect the race car either. So he just got turned around. Hopefully he didn't flat spot his tires. He'll be back underway. He's got a real fast race car. He can work his way back up towards the front.
Well, you talk about the top 3 guys right now, and then Mike Duncan, who's led every lap, and then Justin Lofton. And I thought last year, this guy, particularly towards the end of the season, Lofton showed so much potential out of Westmoreland, California, and he's got Rob Dixon now as his crew chief. Rob spent much of last year with the Brett Thompson team. He finished 4th in the road course at Sonoma last year. Finished 13th in this race at Kyle. The former late model driver at Irwindale Speedway. But this is a guy I think you're going to hear some from, Justin Lofton. Pretty hot shoe out of Westmoreland, California. And then right behind him, Scott Lynch. Scott Lynch has more than proven his ability to drive a race car. What he did in 2003, his rookie season, is phenomenal. To come in as a rookie and win the championship. He's had 9 Craftsman Truck Series starts, hopes to have about 15 in the Truck Series this year. Well, with more on that 66 car and Justin Lofton we were talking about a moment ago, let's go down to Jim Trado.
Well, Mike, you talked about the relationship he has now with Rob Dixon calling the shots. Well, the driver made a call that was very, very important. He said, guys, I think I can stay with Mike Duncan, but I want to follow him. I have no need to pass him at this point. At this point in the race, there's over 100 laps to go. His crew chief fired back and said, good call. Let's keep that car underneath you. Stay with the leaders. Don't try to do anything crazy or heroic at this point in the race. So Justin Lofton looking to lap 150 to finish this baby rather than grab the lead here on this quick restart behind veteran Mike Duncan.
Well, as a driver, that's a very, very smart thing to say. Get out there, follow the leader. There's no better leader to follow than Duncan. He's very experienced, knows how to get around this racetrack. That's a good rookie call and a good crew chief call to confirm it.
And speaking of youngsters and guys out to get some experience, how would you like to be 17 years old and the driver of a car? There he is, Alex Haas, who is the beneficiary, and you see him passing the caution car and coming around out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, his family and the Bush family from Vegas, as you know, Kurt and Kyle, have been friends for over 25 years, and it's Kyle Busch who has really been supporting Alex Haas and his career. He owned a Legends car that he drove in the Summer Shootout Series in Charlotte. He has really supported his late model efforts and is helping some with this effort here in the West Series. But to be 17 and to have this kind of opportunity is really something for Alex Haas, isn't it?
It is. He's under good guidance. Crew chief Mike Nakey, crew chief on that car. Ex-Hendricks car. It won at Altamont with driver Austin in the car, Austin Cameron. So he's got a good race car, too, and a good team.
Well, we're back under green again. 52 laps in, and there is Mike Duncan again jumping out to a lead. And I think it's going to be Scott Lynch who's going to maintain that second position. Lynch in the red 29. There's Lofton getting kicked up high.
David to the bottom. David's been out on that outside. He's wanting to get down on the bottom, and he's coming to the front also.
Boy, Lofton just can't get back in there, and he lost at least 5 positions, and we understand that David just got a warning from NASCAR. Well, Mike David, who was involved in that incident with David Mayhew.
Probably just telling him, hey, lighten up, Mike. It's a little bit early. Don't be roughing these guys up. He got in a little earlier incident earlier. It was kind of a judgment call, so they're just telling him to calm down a little bit.
Caution is out again.
22 car.
That is Jason Bowles, another one of the rookies. He's out of Ontario, California.
I think we're going to see a lot of spinouts here. Again, we got a lot of rookies, 11 rookies in this race. These drivers, you know, they're learning tonight. And unfortunately, that may breed a little bit of caution, so that's why we may be seeing a lot of these cautions here.
Under caution at Thunder Hill Raceway. 55 laps in now, and the tires are starting to go away a little bit. That's a different experience altogether, isn't it?
Well, it really is. To come here and test, especially by yourself's one thing, but when you get out in traffic, Mike, exactly like you say, you start to lose brake pedal, the brakes get hot, the tires start to go away, and you got to keep going faster because that's just, you got to keep up. There you see Mike David driving down in the corner, gets into the back of the 66, but I don't totally agree with that. It looked like the 66 got into the 29 a little bit. He checked up. Mike David got in the back of him. That's what it looked like to me. But NASCAR did warn the 2 car, said, hey, calm down a little bit because you're on the radar.
Well, Mike David still posted in the top 5. He is 4th right now. I want to make a call to Brett Thompson. We haven't talked about him all night long, and he will restart this race now in the 5th position.
Look at the 54 car, Tim Woods. He's come.
How about that?
Come up, and you know we talked about him earlier. He likes this racetrack. I talked to him. He said, "Dan, I love the place." He qualified 12th. He said, "I feel I've got a better race car." See some damage on the left front valence of that race car, but again, being a short track, the whole fender tore off that car. But it's good because, like I said, the downforce doesn't play near as much effect.
Started 15th and finished 7th in this race back in the fall. Tim Woods, 32 years old. Look at Eric Harden's car, would you? Eric Harden's got a great ride this year in that 5 car, and so you saw the damage on the right side. But, folks, that's Saturday night short track racing. Harden, yeah, we got Mike Harvick as the crew chief.
Exactly. Mike Harvick stepped up there with him, and he's helping crew chief that deal. So what better crew chief than Kevin Harvick's dad, Mike Harvick, to come on board and kind of help chauffeur things around.
Right now running in the 12th position. He finished in the top 10 here a year ago. And these cautions have been great for Alex Haas, who's once again the beneficiary. He gets to come around, and he's back on the lead lap.
And a big game for him. There's the 5 car. He did not lose a lap. That was pretty impressive. Eric Harden was able to come in the pits, get that sheet metal cut off that car, well, not all of it, and get him back underway.
Yeah, they were pit road speed, by the way, 5 miles an hour. She said
That's tough.
It is really tight back there where all the haulers are. There's really not a pit road here.
Green flag, green.
Green's back out.
Side.
Boy,
Clear, all clear. Protect the bottom now. Protect the bottom.
Lynch not giving anything, and he wants to dive down low.
Lynch has got a race car. His car, when he gets some heat in them tires, it really turns good down in the center of the corner, off the corner, and that's where he can beat him. That's where he's got to look to beat him. But again, we got to take care of our tires. Tire management is what he has to remember. We're still early in the race.
Tim Woods still running third, but the battle. Brett Thompson has just moved by Mike David in the fourth, and another spin. And yet another caution here in Kyle, Texas. Oh, my goodness.
09 car, Justin Labonte, unfortunately gets turned around. It's just a tough corner here tonight. Not what Terry Labonte wanted to see, I promise you.
What? That turn 4, there is some gremlins down there, I think.
Yep, then they get down there and get stuck in the grass because of the rain we've had, and that causes a problem, so they can't get back underway and keep that lap. Just drive down. Ooh, look like Jim Englebright just got in the left rear corner of him. Just got turned around. Englebright looks at the bottom. Goes on there. Just one of them racing accidents on these short tracks.
David Mayhew made a great move there. You see it again. We can't really see whether or not Englebright touched him or not, but it looked like he might have had a little something to do with it there.
Yep, from that angle, looked like he did get some help. A bit of left rear damage. See the bumper cracked on Justin's car, so obviously Englebright did get in the left rear corner there.
Dick Midgley owns that car, been in this series for a while, and I know he was excited to have Justin Labonte behind the wheel here this weekend. And once again, it's going to be Lynch starting alongside Mike Duncan. Mike Duncan's led every lap of this race. But as I said before, Scott Lynch is real racing. And if you remember Scott Lynch from past years, he gives no ground to anybody.
Nope, you're exactly right. And he knows what it takes. But Scott Lynch likes the bottom. I'm not sure he wants to be on that outside. His car really cuts well on the bottom. This may be a big disadvantage for Lynch because he had to move up to that outside. Tim Woods will protect that bottom. We've seen Tim race before. He's going to get right on the back bumper at Duncan and keep it tightened up. So might not be good for Scott Lynch on this restart.
Mike Duncan, 7 series wins. Scott Lynch with 8. They're side by side. We're ready to go green again.
Still there barely. Outside barely. Clear all around. Protect the bottom.
Looks like Tim Woods backed up a little bit, enabling Scott Lynch to look to the bottom. There's Lynch again.
Oh,
gets
my
in the
goodness.
back bumper
Lynch
of Duncan.
almost turns Duncan around.
Beats him down in the corner. That's what he has to do. He knows he has to get down in the bottom, pushes him up high.
That was a Dan Partis move right there, the bump and run.
That's right. I wish I could do it. Feels good up here.
Behind him if you need to. Inside.
Now Tim Woods is right inside of Duncan. Boy, Tim Woods came here with a racing car tonight as well. Mike David has moved into 4th place. It's on now as we approach lap 70.
Duncan's got to get back to the bottom of the racetrack. His car does not work as well up high on that high side. Talking to Bill Sedgwick, he says we got to keep the car down the bottom. Crew chief of that car talking to Mike Duncan saying keep it on the bottom. But if he backs up here a little bit, he'll be okay. He's got to be careful not to abuse them tires up.
I'll tell you what, Mike Duncan felt the pressure from Scott Lynch, and that's such a typical Saturday night short track move. You get that fender underneath and you kind of just root your way in there and fly on by, and that's what he did.
He did, and I think, got turned around. 66 car.
Turn 4 again. You got to be kidding me.
Justin Laughlin gets turned off of 4. Man, treacherous turn 4 here tonight.
Jose Luis Ramirez, who we haven't talked about tonight, he gets in the grass as well in the 30 car. And there's Justin Lofton. Oh, my goodness.
Running up in the top 5 there earlier. Unfortunate.
Lofton had been running so well all night long.
Looks like he drives down in the corner.
Brian Eichler.
Looks like Eichler gets in the back of him there just a little bit. Possibly a 66 car. Looks like he slowed down because it was almost a chain reaction there. Not sure what happened on corner entry there with Justin Laughlin.
Brian Eichler, who's taken over that 16 car, which has run so strong for several years in this series. Eichler just 21 years old. So many youngsters in this series. Eichler, though, not a rookie. And he finished second in this race a year ago.
Another Bill McAnally entry, qualified 18th, was not happy with that qualifying effort.
All right, while we're under caution, let's take a look at that pass for the lead again. And I think this was a clean move by Scott Lynch.
It really was. Looks like they drive down in the corner. Lynch looks to the bottom. Tim Woods opens the door. Lynch has a really good run going. He's able to look in the left rear corner. Duncan slips up a little bit, and Lynch gets a good run off the corner right here. Good short track move. Pushes him up, says, hey, I'm down here. Let me by.
Dan, we're just getting some word from NASCAR that Brian Eichler is going to be penalized for that move, getting to Justin Lofton. Let's take a look at it again.
Looks like he drives down in there, gets in right down the bottom, and that just gives him a little help there. Well, NASCAR knows best. They made the call.
Back under Green and Kyle.
Good start for Scott Lynch. Was able to get out, get that line. Mean, clean racetrack.
And Mike David into second place for the first time tonight. Watch out for that yellow car.
David's been a sleeper. He knows how to get around his place. They really struggled with his car yesterday and today. He said we changed everything before qualifying. The shocks, the springs, the sway bar, everything we could change. He said we just could not get the car to turn down in the center of the corner.
And there's another mess coming into turn 4. What is going on down in that corner?
I don't know. Johnny Boardman involved. Tough break for him. See the 16 car. Wow. Eichler.
Well, looks like the night's going to be over for Eichler. I mean, a lot of smoke coming out of that car, out of the hood.
Yep, looks like the radiator overheating there a little bit. Unfortunate for them. Like you talked about earlier, tough night for Bill McAnally Racing. Both his cars have just been bounced around all over tonight. Oh.
Once again, there are 11 rookies in this race tonight, and young drivers like Eichler, who's only 21 years old, not a rookie, but still a very young driver.
Looks like he just got turned around there. Not sure if he got any help or not, but stopped on the racetrack. Real lucky nobody hit him.
There's John Borneman. Borneman with some damage. But Scott Lynch is your leader. We're 82 laps into the Allstate Texas Thunder 150. One of the positive stories here, as we're past halfway in this race, is the progress of Andrew Myers, who started 20th, got clipped in one of the wrecks in turn 4, and is now running third.
We talked about it. If you just use your head, work your way through the field, he's got a really good race car. He's got some body damage, but that's the extent of it. This kid's using his head and worked his way right up back towards the front.
Won 2 of the first 3 races a year ago, says he's going for the championship this year. He did not do that last year, but he's got a whole new team with him, including a new crew chief in Ben Walker. Myers, 27, who's raced everything you can race, including jet skis in his career, but is going for the title here this year in the West Series. Let's go down to Jim Trado.
I'm in Brian Eichler's pit from the incident, bumping the 66 of Lofton. The car started running hot. The water temp was up to 230. It was losing water on the previous caution. You guys saw it when he spun out that the radiator was starting to overheat. They were contemplating under the previous caution to bring him in to cool that off. Now we see Eichler and the team led by Craig Rodman trying to get that car cooled down. A very experienced team. Just the nose was dinked in just a little bit below the Chevy bow tie, but enough to upset the airbox and push the radiator in to create some heating issues. They're trying to cool this car down before the Napa Chevy returns to the racetrack.
Mike Duncan, Dan Partis, Mike Hogwood, HD Net booth. You copy?
Go ahead.
Hey, buddy, getting bounced around there a little. You had such a good race car. Looks like you just need to get back in the groove and work your way to the front, huh?
It's just timing on being inside or outside. You can obviously see that top line doesn't work real well, but we're going to go back again. Hopefully we can get back towards the front before this thing's over.
All right, buddy, good luck to you. We're getting ready to go green, so keep it clean out there.
That's the word from Mike Duncan. He doesn't sound happy.
No,
He
hear what
did
he
not
says.
sound happy.
He says it's timing, and again, he's got to get on that bottom. He likes the bottom. His car's working a little bit better on the bottom of the racetrack. But Mike David in his 2 car, he likes the outside, and that's where he's restarting.
That's why I think this is going to be one heck of a restart. Hold on, folks. We're getting ready to go back to green. That is Scott Lynch in the 29, Mike David in the 2. This should be something.
David not quite able to get the run that he wanted.
Inside.
Communication to the 2 car.
Clear.
Well, now they're 1, 2, and 3. Lynch, David, and Andrew Myers is coming.
We talked about Andrew Myers. Good race car. That car is really hooked up and able to get off the corner. Right here is where you got to get off the corner and get that run down the straightaways. But Myers got a little loose that time, not able to get under David, but we've got a lot of laps left here. He just got to heat them tires and be patient.
60 laps to go right now. 60 laps left. 90 laps on these tires. And it's at this point of the race where I would expect the veterans who know how to drive a little bit on some worn tires would really start to show their stuff and come to the front.
Yeah, they do. And they know that they cannot spin the tires. The whole key is not to spin the tire off the corner. These engines have got 600 plus horsepower, and it's very easy to spin the tires, so you've got to be careful not to do that. See Eichler on the high side there, got way loose. Not sure if he's got a tire going down.
Well, Eichler's getting passed by, and that's the 21 car of Ryan Foster, the young man who's under contract to Richard Childress, had been running in the top 10 all night long.
Got on that outside and got a little loose. Steve Portengay, the crew chief on that car.
Yeah, still holds on to 9th, though. He's still running in 9th position.
See Mike David, real smooth. Again, he likes this racetrack. His car works real well on the bottom of the racetrack, but he likes the high side, too. So when he gets to Lynch, he's probably just going to keep him in his sights and say, hey, I'm going to let him work his tires to death. Hopefully I'll be there towards the end.
Scott Lynch is really checked out. There's the battle for 4th and 5th. You heard Mike Duncan say, hey, I'm just going to do my best to get back up there, but Tim Woods not letting him in. And Brett Thompson in that 61 right behind him. Brett Thompson, who started questioning himself a little bit last year when his team rented out the car for some rides last year. He basically did a start and park in this race here back in the fall, but tonight felt real comfortable with his equipment, and as you can see, is running in 6th place and is having a really good run tonight.
Yes, he is. And this is a new race car. Brett and his family build race cars, and they sell racing parts in the 61 car. He said that I built this car for somebody, and the guy backed out on it, so we decided to bring it here and race it. Never been on the racetrack, brand new race car. Looks like it's having a stellar performance here tonight.
Brett Thompson was the first in this series last year to run the composite body. And many others have now followed suit with those composite bodies, which you're now able to run both in this series.
See Scott Lynch just checking out there a little bit. Mike David keeping him in his sights, but Lynch's car is really working well. And I tell you, if you got a car that works good and it's even working all 4 tires evenly, you can run fast here, but the car has to be handling perfectly.
You know, I talked to Scott Lynch and I said, hey, how rusty were you getting back in that car? And he said, real rusty. But fortunately, we had a practice last night, and there was a track practice here last night. He said, that really helped me out. There are now 50 laps remaining. We're 100 laps through here. 150 make up the race. Just 50 laps to go. And Scott Lynch has quite a lead now over Mike David. And it's even further back now to Andrew Myers, who's in 3rd as the field, under the longest green flag run we've had all night, starting to get stretched out just a little bit.
It is 49 laps to go. You see a car up on the high side there, moves way up high. Lynch works his way around. Scott Lynch and his brother they run the family business, gas stations and car washes. He works on them during the week. And he tries to race as much as he can. He said this year we're going to try and do 6 or 8 Craftsman Truck Series races. Looks like there's a little problem on Scott Lynch's car, though. When he come around, if you look at the right top of the windshield, the overflow for the radiator is blowing steam out there. What that means is the car is overheating. The right front of that car, you see right there, you see the steam coming out of it right there. They've got too much tape on the nose of this car probably, and it's starting to overheat. This could be devastating for Scott Lynch.
Wow, we will keep a close eye out now as you saw that, just what Dan was talking about a moment ago. There's Tim Woods, who is running in 4th place, and Scott Lynch. Let's see if we can see it again as we come around into view.
Yep, and you'll see it more right down through the corner right here. You see it shooting the steam out. What it is that's the overflow for the radiator. When the car starts to overheat, instead of blowing the steam and the water on the racetrack, NASCAR makes us put it up in the air there.
Jim Trado has more. Jim.
Well, Scott Lynch came here for one reason, to win a race. He's not going to run the full schedule, but he does have some great help. Shane Wilson, the Busch Series crew chief champion of a year ago, is a good buddy of Scott's, and they're actually working on this race car. So it was their mutual decision to get this much tape on the nose, which obviously is costing him right now.
You're exactly right, Jim. The only thing they can do is hope for a caution, maybe get that engine cooled down. But as he runs green flag laps more and more and more, that pressure that will continue to build. Oh, he gets into the bottom of the 27 lap car that he's getting by there. He knows that he cannot stop right now. As a driver, you're looking at that temperature gauge climb and climb. There's nothing you can do about it.
And in a race like this, you come down pit road, you're done as far as a win is concerned. That was Bobby Hillis. So he had to bump out of the way just a little bit as he's running up on some lap traffic now. As again, this is the longest green flag run we've had all night. And here comes Mike David. He looks like he's going to challenge for the lead.
He's starting to lose the motor on that car, I believe. I thought I seen a little blue smoke maybe come out the car. And what happens is when the engine gets that hot, it loses horsepower.
Yellow's out. Caution is out.
84 car.
That's Alex Haas, who has had a tough night here tonight. Haas spins, and he's got some smoke coming out of that car. Haas, the 17-year-old out of Las Vegas.
Jimmy Dick, the owner on that car. His son also driving
the 88
car in this race also.
Mike Nake is heading up both teams' operations.
There you see the tail end of that. 84 car already turned around. Tough night for him. Fortunately for him, no contact with any other car. He'll be back underway.
All right, 111 laps in. We've got to go to 150. Mike David was just about to pass Scott Lynch when that caution came out. Three laps remaining here in this race.
Yep, we're getting within the window now where, guys, it's time to go. If we've got anything left, it's time to check out and head towards the front.
You know, and we were questioning about Scott Lynch. We saw that steam coming out of the hood of that car. Jim, what are they saying down there in the Scott Lynch pit area?
Mike, the crew just reminded the Scott Lynch car, the 29, to stay in the lead at all costs. On this restart, it's critical. They said, we'll do a whole lot better in front of these guys. If we get behind one, that's when we'll have some serious overheating issues. So that discussion continuing under this caution about Lynch trying to stay cool. They say he has to maintain that lead to have any chance of that engine staying cool enough to finish.
Well, what he's talking about is that grill on the front end of that car, as you see, it has to stay clear. And if you get a car in front of you, the car in front of you blocks the air away, and you lose the air on the car. So the grill area of that car, if he can stay behind right there, if he can stay out front, air runs through there. If he gets behind Mike David or any other car, he loses the airflow through that engine, just makes it that much more hotter.
Well, they are doubling up right now, and it looks like we're about ready to go green. It'll be Lynch and David side by side, and then right behind them, Andrew Myers, Tim Woods the third behind them, Mike Duncan and Brett Thompson.
Here we go.
Coming down to the end here.
Rodeo time.
Good restart by Lynch.
Inside. Clear. Come down.
Spotter of Mike David in the 2 car, telling him he's clear.
But David stayed up high, and look at Andrew Myers getting right under him.
Yep, Myers stuck that nose right under. You see the 15 car back underway. Jack Sellers got turned around off of 4 again, but the green flag stayed out.
Mike David just was not able to get down low, and now that's given Andrew Myers an opportunity to get right behind him, or right beside him, as you see. Scott Lynch had just checked out there, but look at Andrew Myers now giving Mike David a run for second place.
David having trouble getting that car turned down in the center. Again, the problem they were complaining about in practice, not able to get through the center of the corner. Unfortunately, he was not able. He got pushed up high. Andrew Myers got by him. Scott Lynch, he checked out.
Well, he's hoping to coast. You know, if he survives that problem, it will be an amazing night for this 29 team and crew chief Larry Pryor. Lynch, who still makes his home in Burley, Idaho, leading this race. Just 26 years old.
24 laps to go here. And again, it's time to check out if you got anything. We're on these bias ply tires. You can drive these tires off the corner. Even you can feel them if you can spin them. They're an easy tire to drive. Short track drivers love bias ply tires. It's a lot easier to race on the tires.
Mike Duncan would love to get by Andrew Myers, because then if a caution came out, he'd have an opportunity to start on the front row on the restart. Duncan, who led all of the early going of this race, started on the pole here tonight.
Yep, he wants by him bad. Oh, 98 car gets turned around.
That's Brandon Reel. We were talking about him a moment ago. The 30-year-old driver out of Boring, Oregon, who has had so much success in the Northwest Elite Series. Finished second in the points there the last 2 seasons. Had 6 wins in that series last couple of years, but tough night. Also the 75 of Thomas Martin, teammate to Jack Sellers. Talked to Thomas earlier today. Boy, he was excited about his season. Ran 1 race last year in a car that was owned by his parents. And there is Scott Lynch now with another opportunity to keep his car cooled down, and nothing cooled down about that 75 car.
He's done for the night. Jack Sellers prepared automobile there.
That is a composite body on that machine, and it, as you said, looks like it's done. 20 laps to go here in Kyle, Texas. Welcome back.
Mike David, Dan Partis in the HDNet booth. You copy?
10-4.
Hey, buddy, looked like you had a little trouble there. You got shoved up on the high side and kind of lost a few positions. That car still giving you a little trouble in the center of the corner?
Yeah, still a little bit tight. On the long run, it started coming to us, and we ran down Scott, ran out of laps, and then the yellow came out. But I don't know, 15 laps to go. By the time they get her green, about 10 laps to go. If we can get her to the bottom, we might be able to get a couple of them back.
Hey, Roger, looks like the car is definitely working better. You guys threw everything at it but the kitchen sink there before qualifying. Do you think you made the right move?
We got it better. It's the Bennett Lane Winery crew. They did an awesome job. Mario Isola. If we just had one more change, I think we'd have it. But too late now, and we'll get what we got and see what happens.
Okay, Mike, good luck to you, man.
Thank you.
All right, that's the word of Mike David. And, I know he feels good about where he is and probably is going to another top 5 finish here. But all these guys, they're only happy if they have one spot. And that's the one that takes you to victory lane.
Let me tell you, when you're that close to the big trophy, it just hurts. You're disgusted when you leave and say, I wasn't happy with my run. I finished 3rd. And there's guys back in 10th that would have been elated for that. But when you're that close, 2 or 3 car lengths, it hurts, and it hurts a lot, especially when you've had the race car at one point to take the checkered flag. But fortunately, that's just how it is, and that's stock car racing, and that's why the sport is what it is today.
Well, we've had an interesting race here tonight, to say the least. And it's kind of what everybody thought before, that the rookies who came in here with such high hopes and many with such fast race cars learned that experience is a big key on a short track like the one here in Kyle, Texas.
Well, it really is. And again, we talked so much earlier about tire management and taking care of your car, not overdriving the racetrack. And again, you got to learn to drive the racetrack. That's so important. And that's what these guys are learning here tonight.
Alex Haas, 17 years old, is learning what it's like to be the beneficiary. I think this is the 4th time he's been the beneficiary tonight and gotten a lap back.
Man, he's been awful lucky here tonight. Again, he just keeps getting his way back to the front. And, that's been a good night for him to be able to do that, because you get laps down at a short track, you never get them back.
There are 3 rookies now in the top 10 in the 8th, 9th, and 10th spot. That is Ryan Foster in 8th, David Mayhew in 9th, and the rookie Mark Davis, who we were talking about a moment ago, 16 years old, he's running 10th right now in this race. That's really impressive.
It is, and again, these guys have got to come out here unscathed. A nice top 10 finish would be a victory for them. Again, you get back here in 10th or so with 20, 25 laps left. You don't have nothing to win the race, but bring a nice top 10 finish home and then bring it home to Phoenix from here.
NASCAR has just informed us that Eric Harden has been sent to the back for over-aggressive driving. There he is in the number 5 car. That side of his car looks a heck of a lot better than the other side.
There you are, 3 wide. Eric not quite agreeing with that call. Not sure if NASCAR is going to throw the green or not, but yeah, it looks like Aaron's falling back a little bit so he can get out of the way.
Well, we're ready to go green now. 12 laps remain. Lynch, another strong restart, but look at Mike Duncan. Duncan wants to take second away from Andrew Myers, and he's going to do it.
We talked to Duncan. He knows he's got to keep it on the bottom. Him and Mike David both said, hey, I got to keep the car on the bottom. I know that's where it works. Bill said, we talked about it earlier. He said, I'm going to stay on him. He keeps it on the bottom, he'll win. Oh, he gets in the back of him.
Well, he's trying to do to Scott Lynch the same thing with Lynch into him, and look at Mike David. David coming hard on the outside. loses a little bit of his momentum, but boy, did he have a run going.
He did, but David's car will not work up on the high side. He knows it. He likes the high side. He's won here before from the high side, but tonight his car will not work up there.
Mike Duncan, who started on the pole, he's got a fast race car. He made one move to Lynch. Eric Harden has just been black flagged. Oh, and the car goes around. It's the 98 of Brandon Reel. Will we get a caution? He's off the track. I do not see a yellow at this point. 7 laps left. Does Duncan have another move in him?
I think Duncan's got it. He's starting to come alive here towards the end of the race. He knows that now's the time to do it. With 7 laps to go, he's got to get a run off the corner.
But here they're going to come up on some lap traffic in just a minute. It is going to come into play. The car of Brandon Reel is about 10 car lengths ahead of Lynch. Lynch and Duncan look like those two cars now will decide it here at Thunder Hill Raceway.
Duncan gives him a little love tap off the corner. Myers is starting to get a little loose off the corner. He may be losing rear grip of that race car. Mike Duncan knows that. He knows where that weak spot is, and that's where he needs to get the run on this short track.
Scott Lynch doing everything he can to stay in front of the veteran Mike Duncan. Both these guys know what it's like to win here.
5 laps to go.
And the yellow is out. Yellow is out.
Oh, man.
Stan Silva Jr. spins. Now, as we come down towards the end of this race, we will not end this race under yellow. We will have a green-white-checkered finish.
Yes, and NASCAR talked about that in a driver's meeting. They said, we will always end it in a green-white-checkered. Only reason we would not do that is due to some time restraint, but I don't believe we have that problem here tonight.
I'm willing to stay here for a while, aren't you?
Yes, it's going to be exciting. Green-white-checkered finishes on a short track are the way to go. That's what the fans are for. That's what the people, you folks at home watching on TV, want to see. You want to see an exciting finish. That's what you're going to see.
Well, that's my point. We've been here all night. Let's end this under green. That restart a moment ago, we were talking about it, and Duncan, who got by Andrew Myers in the 44 and then tried to put that move on Lynch. He tried to do the same thing to Lynch that Lynch did to him to take the lead originally.
Yes, he did. And Duncan, see, he let off of him there. He could have turned him around there. Duncan is better off the corner, especially on these restarts. Scott Lynch has got to block him and be protected on that bottom, but he's got to be careful. There he is overheating again. You see that steam coming out of the right front of that race car? Scott Lynch has been real lucky he's gone this far. So if that car could just make it 2 or 3 more laps, he'll be happy.
He does not want to see this race go much farther than lap 150, and it looks like we are going to go past that.
Yep. And as a driver, this is not what we want to see. When you get your rhythm going and you're within that 5-lap window, you know what you got to do. You're already focused, and now everything changes.
All right, we get ready for this green-white checker. Let's go quickly down to Jim Trado. Jim.
Well, guys, Mike Duncan and his team were talking. He said, hey, spotter, I need to know if I'm too high on the racetrack. This is 2 laps to go under caution. Mike Duncan is pretty much determined that Scott Lynch will stay on the bottom. Duncan does not want to go 1 inch higher than he has to. So under caution, he said, look at me now. Am I too high in this corner? Am I too high on the racetrack? Is there any grip up here? So Duncan trying to do everything he can to get the advantage. Look for him to stay extremely close to the left-hand side of that 29 car on the restart as he's trying to see what the outside groove may hold here in this green-white checker finish.
Well, Jim, just sounds like what we've been talking about. It's going to be fun to watch.
Well, there's not a lot of grip there. We know that. But what he's trying to do is get a little confidence from Bill Sedgwick, possibly talking to him on the radio saying, hey, there's plenty of grip on that outside. Don't give it up because it's a mind game. If a driver feels that he doesn't have the grip out there, he's going to let off a little bit just to be cautious. We can't be cautious. It's going to be green-white checkered. We got to go. We got to go. So hang it out there. If you spin the car around, so be it, unfortunately, if you're here to win the race. If you're points racing, on the other hand, it might be better just to lay back and take a 2nd or 3rd place finish and say, well, I'll just go to the next one.
Now, Dan, I don't know about you, but I think Mike David might be a guy to watch out for. He's starting on the inside, right beside Lynch. And while Lynch and Duncan really are going to be battling a lot, watch out for that yellow 2 car.
Oh, yeah. Mike David, you're exactly right. He's down on the bottom, and he's not going to let that gap open up. He's going to do the best he can to stay on the back of Scott Lynch. So it's going to be exciting just to see what happens here. The race finish, I think, will be determined of how they enter into turn 1 when we go green.
Well, we're already into overtime, and now we've been getting the signal 1 to go. That means that we will have a green flag, white flag, and checkered flag. The next time around, we'll go green. You see that 1 finger up in the air. The finger up means green the next time by.
Here's where your spotter helps you out. All right, guys, let's tighten it up. Let's get ready. We got to do the right thing. Clean them tires, clean that motor out, because this is it.
Restart is so important right here.
Listen on board of Mike Duncan.
Ready. Green, go, go, go. Inside. Two inside.
Again, Duncan hang out on that outside, not where he wants to be. He's got to get down to the bottom.
But what a great restart by Scott Lynch. He just took a shot and he takes the white flag.
Yes, he did.
Can Lynch hold on here?
Well, I don't think anybody has anything for him, and even if they get close to him, he's going to block them. He drives down in the corner, he keeps it on the white line, there's no way around him.
All right, here comes Scott Lynch off of 4. He takes the checkered flag. Scott Lynch, welcome back to the West Series. How
Oh,
about
and they're
that?
spinning. Scott Gaylord down in the grass again. Tough night for him.
Mark Davis, though, too, but he got across the start-finish line. Alex Haas smoking as he came across.
92 car. Mark Davis spun out. We said it was going to be exciting, and it was.
But how about Scott Lynch out of Burley, Idaho? Won the championship in 2003. Gave up his ride last year to try to go to North Carolina and find a ride in the National Series. It really didn't work out for him all that well. So he came back here tonight to dust the rust off before he goes racing in the Craftsman Truck Series. And what a race he has here tonight, winning the season opener in the NASCAR's Grand National West Series here at Thunder Hill Raceway.
What a hats off to the engine builder on that car. That engine got hot, and it looks like it made it all the way through it. So he's got a good engine builder. Don't know who builds them motors, but they've done a fine job.
Well, as we thought, Mike David on the inside there on that restart, able to get by Mike Duncan and finish second. So another strong run for Mike David. Mike Duncan third. Brett Thompson
Good run
was
for
fourth.
him.
And Jason Bowles really moved up through the field and finishes in the 5th position.
David Mayhew, rookie, good run for him. Finished 6th here tonight.
Tim Woods was 7th. And Justin Labonte
Justin Labonte, top 10 finish, finished 8th.
comes back.
There, he's going to use the rest of them tires up. Put a
Why
show
not?
on for the fans.
Welcome back.
See Scott unbuckling in there. One happy camper. Tell you, he's going to run some Craftsman Truck Series races this year. Nothing better to keep that momentum going as a race team and as a driver.
Well, I tell you, it just shows the talent that this young man has, doesn't it? To be able to take a year off, admit he was rusty. He admitted, I was rusty. But to come back and with a race car that was on the verge of overheating,
Wow.
to hang on and to beat guys like Mike David and Mike Duncan, that
Again,
was something.
He did, and he did all the right things. And, you know, as a racer, he was a little more conservative than he needed to be, and that's probably early in the race it paid off.
All right, Jim, you're down there. Go ahead.
Scott, talk us through that, man. You had some overheating stuff going on and really had your hands full with all those restarts at the end. What were you thinking with that engine getting that hot?
You know, Kevin Corrier back in Las Vegas builds us great motors for these West cars. You know, and that Jasper transmission rear end just held up during that burnout. I mean, we just did a totally awesome job. I just want to thank the team. I mean, without those guys, the drivers get all the glory and the team does all the blood, sweat, and tears.
Your buddy Shane Wilson's here. He won a championship last year. He said, when I have a chance to run with you, we're going to run for wins. How satisfying is this for you and your guys doing a partial schedule here in the West Series?
Oh, just totally awesome. We're only here for 2 races this year. We're not points racers. We're just here to win. That's all we're here to do. And need to thank Shane for stepping up and helping us point us in the right direction. LJ Pryor, Roy Pryor, my mom and dad, brother, my girlfriend back home. So it's totally awesome, totally awesome.
Scott, talk about on those restarts. You had Mike Duncan, you had Mike David, a lot of experience there, man.
A lot of mics right there. Boy, you know, I just tried to get the car pointed as straight as possible, a good launch, and luckily we were just able to hold him getting into turn 1, but it just took for such a long time for the tires to come in. We had such short, you know, runs. I mean, it just took forever for the tires going, but once they got hot, we were able to run good and pull away, but on the short runs, we were just slacking a little bit there, and I was doing everything I could to keep him behind me.
Scott, enjoy the hard work. Congratulations on a great run tonight.
Thanks, guys.
You've been watching NASCAR Grand National West Series Racing on Speed. I'm Mike Hogwood for Dan Partis and Jim Trado saying so long from Kyle, Texas.